Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back. Wait, that's Australian. Welcome back to the Force Choke Podcast. This is episode 54. Yes. And I'm Izzy. The most important.
And I'm Tim.
And I'm Sarah.
And I'm just sitting here. Micah.
Minding his own damn business.
My own business.
Minding my own damn business.
We're missing Lewis again.
Yeah, another episode without Lewis.
He got stuck in the Starlight pit.
Oh no.
Good time. Oh no.
He got kicked in there. Jetpack loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what do we got, Tim?
Mandalore.
Where's your news, son?
Yeah.
Where's your news,
Start
son?
with the Mandalore.
The Mandalore.
It's kicking off.
Today was it D23?
D23. Today is the day. So, by the time you hear this, trailer would have dropped. We won't have a chance to see the trailer or talk about the trailer until after today, so our next podcast.
But we will break it down next time.
We will do a breakdown next time, yes.
Break it down. Good job, Tim. Keep it
going. Yeah. Yeah, so the show does come out November 12th on the Disney Plus service. Another show we can talk about is this show called Resistance.
Resistance.
means.
So news came out, a report that this season, the second season, will be its final season. So it's only got two seasons. They started the show. Everybody was happy we're going to get a second season. And it was abrupt on the same day. They announced that they were going to do a second season. They said it was going to be the final season.
Canceled before it even started. She's been canceled, sis.
So you're telling us that the same day it got greenlit for a second season, it got canceled?
At least that's what I was told.
How does that work?
They make an announcement for a second season and then cancel it?
No, I mean like...
No, ma'am.
They're just like, hey, we're doing this one.
Yeah, I mean like what's the logic behind that?
Why they're doing that?
Think? Yeah.
Cause a hoopla.
Cause a hoopla.
Should they have other bigger, better plans with what they want to do with the Star Wars shows?
Sure.
Do you think season 1 even a hit?
It was
I would imagine no.
For the younger audience.
Yeah, but I think, well, you know, and I think this might be a play to Disney finally realizing, like, I mean, you can have your shows specific to a certain age, but it's not known for that, you know, because like regular Star Wars movies can be enjoyed by children, by adults, you know, they can be enjoyed by everybody. So maybe they're starting to realize, especially since they're cutting off of the Star Wars movies for a while, to realize that they need to bring out content that everybody can watch and it's not catered just to one.
PG-13.
Well, I think that Cassian show is going to be catered to one. It's going to be very mature.
Yeah, but the thing is with kids, you can they'll literally watch the same thing over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
But the adults are to keep them going. Or I'm not going to say adults, but the adults, the older people, to keep them going. They're gonna need more content. They're gonna want more content. So, and maybe kind of like we were talking about beforehand. Maybe how Mandalorian hasn't even come out yet, and it already has a soft green light, just because of so much money they have to pump into production and everything. That maybe that's why Resistance, they already were working on it. And then they realized their numbers weren't good enough. And they said, okay, here's your second season, and
Just
done.
kidding.
Yeah.
That was like a Spider-Man.
Womp womp.
You could have got a Star Wars one for that one, but...
Spider-Man can be in Star Wars if he wants.
He should be, considering...
He can do no wrong.
Sarah.
Sony's going to buy Resistance.
Sony's gonna buy... No. No way in hell. I'm pretty sure if Sony asked for a paper towel from Disney, he'd be like, no.
So it's almost like Forces of Destiny.
That trash
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's
It just can't like comes
It's
out,
not trash.
does
It
its
was
thing,
garbage.
Sure it is.
And
It's
then
good.
it's gone.
It was
Thank
cute.
like YouTube specials, and then that was it, or Disney.
It was like,
Yeah, but I think, you know,
little commercial.
but even then, Forces of Destiny was never, I think, anchored to being an actual show. Like, it was just kind of like those little quick tidbits, like almost like commercials. You know.
Featurettes.
Okay, sure.
Like the
feature.
infomercials.
Fillers.
I don't know if I go so far as to say info.
I think
I'm gonna
the
cut you.
infomercials
I
are
think
gonna be
that sounds
better. Infomercials are better than Forces of Destiny.
Hey, I like the infomercials where they talk about the love songs. You know the CD and they play like all these like love
the
songs.
compilation
Oh, yeah.
of like 100. Yeah.
They start singing.
Like
to-
Time. This is Power Ballads. And then
Yeah.
they play like Def Leppard.
I feel sick in my stomach
Those are
now.
my favorite.
Those are fun.
I like when people are failing at life.
I like when they're running on the beach. How am I supposed to live without you?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh,
We're off the rails
I
already.
know that one.
We're like 3
It only
minutes,
took like
5
2
minutes
minutes.
in. We're off the rails.
Yeah.
From Forces of Destiny to Power Ballads.
Jesus, someone
See,
shoot.
and we're laughing more
Someone
about
shoot
the
me with
power
a
ballads
blaster.
than Forces of Destiny. That tells you something.
That tells you
Forces of
something.
Destiny was crap.
Not complete crap. Like,
Mostly
maybe
crap.
not a solid
Not
crap.
even percent. It was a running crap.
I just remember they did Poe wrong.
What?
Remember Poe Dameron?
Oh, they done
Oh,
Poe
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
you're saying?
Was it his
Yeah.
ship that he was looking for or going after, and he decided not to do that for the girl
I don't know.
Oh,
I
he
don't
picked the
remember
girl.
that stuff.
over the ship or something?
think so.
I
Why
forgot
is
what
he
it
looking for
was.
a girl? Here he has Rapo.
He already has Finn.
I think that's what it was. Like, yeah.
He does.
He has
to do something for Ray.
No, they're cuter. Poe and Finn.
I ship them.
So yeah,
I don't think that'll ever be a thing.
Resistance is gone.
Yep.
Boo. Oh well.
Yay. Well, did you just from us here, us fans? Has any of us here watched Resistance?
No.
No.
An
I have
episode,
seen-
one episode.
Nope.
I've seen a couple episodes.
Really?
A couple?
High five, man.
Did you watch any?
Absolutely not.
Then why did he
Yeah.
get a high five?
It
Because he watched some.
Oh.
We're supposed to be able to watch all of it. We're all fans.
It did, like, part of it did remind me of Clone Wars. The way it was.
Okay, you shut your mouth.
I mean,
Animation or what?
the animation was a little bit different, though. But it had that, I felt like I was watching Clone Wars still. For a younger audience. If Clone Wars was for a younger audience. That's what I'm watching.
I don't know. I feel like those things that got released on Disney XD, like no one could ever. Not that no one, but I couldn't take it serious. As
Yeah.
a serious show. Even kind of like Rebels. Like there was a lot of thing in Rebels that I enjoyed, but it's just kind of like, again, like if you make it seem like it's catered to this kind of age group, it's just kind of like, should I watch this? Do I have to watch this? I mean, I'm a fan, but is there anything of substance I'm going to get out of this? And I think you actually saw the show kind of getting darker depending upon the material that it was getting into. And I think that kind of goes back to the idea of they have to start giving, like, it's Star Wars. Wars is in the name. This is violent material that some of it can be somewhat kiddie, like infomercials, like Forces of Destiny. But this stuff isn't exactly designed to be all,
Cupcakes. And
sunflowers and roses on the... before Anakin just slices and dices people. The sunflowers of Naboo will grow with the blood of younglings. I don't know, I'm just kidding.
That's a good bio.
Thank you, I think. Wait, for him or me? Anyway. So, Tim, we have anything else?
What was that one album now? That's what I call.
Are we still on this?
Yeah. So.
I think I got released.
Yeah, no, like, go back.
Did you say Top Gun?
Now. Going back
That's
to, like.
what I call music.
Yeah.
So what they did with Resistance, where they gave it a new season, and then they're like, okay, this is the last season. They're talking about doing the same thing, and this is not, I didn't write this down for our topics, but I just remembered. This is something that was talked about
Tim's flying off the seat of the chair.
with Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
They said they're coming out with this new season. Everybody's happy. Everybody's hyped. After all these years and this break that they had. they're gonna finish the story, and then there's a report that came out that says after this season they don't know if they're gonna be doing anymore.
What, Clone Wars?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was already established. I'm pretty sure
It's
that was
established that there are more
established.
seasons.
Dave Filoni wanted to bring it back to finish the story. That was the whole marketing pitch.
He either has to finish. Then he would have to finish it this one season, because there's uncertainty right now.
Well, again, there wasn't like where they left off was. I mean, okay, no.
I'm saying they had plans to do more seasons.
There's gonna be well. The thing is there's only so much you can actually do depending upon how far they've already gone in it.
To squeeze
Because
into the time.
to at the very beginning of episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, you're still in the Clone Wars. There's only so much more you can actually do with that story without staying true to that main storyline with not a bunch of extra BS on the side. There's only so much you can do for that story before it comes up to its logical endpoint, which would be the beginning of episode 3.
The beginning of Ahsoka's story.
The beginning of episode 3.
No, I think it's gonna lead up to Ahsoka's own show.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fucking awesome.
I'd watch that one.
That would be cool and all, but we've already seen kind of like what happens to her more or less in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Like her backstory and stuff. And how she met up with Rex.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't feel like with Disney... Again, because it seems like almost that Disney is taking anything remotely close to Star Wars and is really looking hard at it, depending upon if there's enough content, enough material for people to even watch.
So they're not going to leave her any room.
So what I'm saying is
story.
that I just don't know if... As great as an Ahsoka show itself would be, I think she's more so going to have like a combined story kind of role. I don't think it's just going to be like a show about her because again, how much will they actually get into? How far do they think that will go? Will they have the intention of doing this story for one season, for 2 seasons? How much can they do without tying in, without kind of retracing steps that they've already taken with the shows that we've seen within Clone Wars, within Rebels, depending upon whatever happened to her at the end of Rebels itself, and even with Ezra and Thrawn. I'm just saying, like, I feel like...
Ooh, Thrawn.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like that, if you did all that together, maybe that could be another show, but I think they're going to have to really think hard about what they're going to do, because they've already have, like, a couple different... Like, Rebels was supposed to, I think, last 4 seasons, and then they cut it down to 3, but even then, still, it just didn't seem like it was enough for them even to start with. Because when they have the intention of making a show, of course it doesn't like, all right, we're going to start the show and it has to have 10 seasons. That's not the case. They will stop it if they're not going to get the viewership. But I figured that they would have a fairly good story that could go for, say, as long as 10 seasons. At least for the material-wise. Whether they get that far is a different thing. But I don't know if they're going to have the intent of making a story if it only is supposed to last 15 episodes. Especially since, again, I just feel like they're being so hardcore with what they're releasing for Star Wars because the fan base is on tilt right now. What do y'all think? Do you think if they only had a thing that would last 2 seasons for an Ahsoka show that they would? As cool as it would be, depending upon how they did it, do you think they would?
For 2 seasons?
I've just used it as an example.
I mean, probably not.
Because, I mean, you have seen a lot of people like Ahsoka, but is it enough that warrants a show that for the story that we kind of have?
Yeah, I don't...
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because how she ended in Rebels, she has her own book.
Yeah.
What we saw her in the Clone Wars. Like, we don't know what happened, again, after Rebels, but again, is that really going to be her own kind of story, or is it going to be this culmination? Because that was the whole point, was with Ezra saving Ahsoka through the time travel gate
Maybe
thing.
for
Yeah.
closure, they could do like 1 or 2 seasons of after the time gate.
Yeah, that's why I just think that they would have a show kind of like how we're talking with Han Solo. Like, should it get a sequel movie? And like everyone would agree, yeah, it should get a sequel movie. But it would make almost more sense if it wasn't necessarily like centralized around Han Solo, but like the underworld.
Yeah.
And because in that way you can introduce more bounty hunters to the show, and it keeps it fresh, and it keeps people engaged. It's new content, but not to the point where you feel like you're taking this one thing and you're just diluting it down with the name.
They're running out of room. I'm talking stories for this era.
Yeah.
I think that's why they're creating these other eras.
I think so too. I mean, and that's it will be interesting to see how far and how long they'll continue with this lineage. You know, considering that episode 9 is supposed to be the end of it for, I'm gonna say for a while. They're saying forever, but because I can really see in like 10, 15 years
To continue the story
Disney-
from 9 or from
Daisy really. Well, I mean, because they could easily say like, she had a kid. The kid's gone crazy. The kid's trying to destroy worlds. Like, I mean, you have lore and stuff like that, but that's depending upon how well that they can execute episode 9. So
The universe population has to build again. I feel like they killed a lot of, or I would say galaxy population. And they start traveling through universes. I mean, through galaxy, like galaxy to galaxy.
I don't know. That's why I think they're closing it off, kind of like what you said. Like they're gonna be covering, like Ryan Johnson's supposed to have his own trilogy. You know, I read something and it's not official, but remember I think it was like 6 months ago, like there was like these rumors coming out that Ryan Johnson's trilogy got canceled, and people were like, "Oh my god!" And Ryan Johnson's like, "No, that's bull.
Oh, yeah.
That's bullshit."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I read another one just yesterday, I think, and I was like, these have to be coming from somewhere, you know?
It's him. He's saying it.
He wants to create hype.
Well, I'm just like, I just think, you know, and I know I've mentioned a couple times already, but I think with Star Wars being so careful, you know, and a topic that I guess we could segue into with Kathleen Kennedy, how much life does she have left as the head honcho at Lucasfilm? And it really seems like Kathleen Kennedy was the one who was really toting around Ryan Johnson as his new prodigal son. You know, giving him complete, you know, the creative aspect of episode 8, and pretty much just having free reign, allowing him to do whatever he wanted to do. So if she goes out the door, will Ryan Johnson still have a job? Will Ryan Johnson still be continuing that trilogy? Because they've been talking about that for a while. Last Jedi has been out for a while, and we haven't heard anything what Ryan Johnson's trilogy is supposed to be. Not like, hey, it's supposed to be coming out in a year, 2 or 3 years. Like, nothing.
Well, by the time his work comes out, Kathleen Kennedy's contract will have expired.
But that's what I mean is because they said they're taking a break from the movies for like, 2 or 3 years? Which you would think, intuitively speaking, like, okay, that's when Ryan Johnson's first movie should come out. But even then, by that time, Kathleen Kennedy will still have already been gone, according to her contract now, depending upon if they extend it.
She resigns, yeah.
Yeah, well, assuming that they'll allow her. Because remember, wasn't it like a 1-year deal contract? Which puts us at 2020, 2021?
I think 2021 is what it was.
Okay. So that... I don't know. So who would take over? If we'll get into that. Who would take over for Kathleen Kennedy?
It's got to be Dave Filoni.
Does it have to?
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni,
Macaroni.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
He has all the...
He's been around since Lucas.
He's got a large following, passionate people. I think all the work he's done up to now, I think has been on a phenomenal level that, you know, he doesn't have many haters, and he has brought in a new audience, brought in new people to and that's what they want. Even though Kathleen Kennedy is, as you know, the executive, Filoni's been doing all the work. So I think he deserves that spot.
Yeah. Especially, I don't know how much there's into it. Like I brought it to y'all that there's an article saying that Kathleen Kennedy snubbed him for the VP role. Because he has been there so long, he's been there with Lucas, he's helped create, you know, Clone Wars and all of his, you know, creative design. And he got picked over by someone else who had only been with the company for 4 years. That's not to say that he wasn't as good as the person that they chose. Mm-hmm. Some people are making arguments for diversity because they picked a woman. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but it's just like, did she snub him? Did he not deserve the role? Or is he being like, hey, calm down, you won't get VP. But when Kathleen Kennedy's gone, maybe they have Bob Iger telling him, like, you're going to take over this whole thing. So just, like, be cool, be a team player, and you're going to, you know, take over this thing. I'm wondering if that's somehow interconnected in there. What do y'all think?
Who's gonna get it?
Yeah.
Me.
You're gonna get it? Okay.
Think he still keeps the hat?
Sold. You talking about that cowboy hat?
Yeah.
I think he probably even forced other people to wear the hats. Where's your cowboy hat?
Sir, you're out of uniform.
Yeah, stormtrooper,
There's a
the
new
whole
sheriff.
outfit. Take off the helmet though, and then you got to put on the hat instead. Oh goodness.
A new sheriff is in town.
You have Quentin Tarantino do a Star Wars movie.
Oh my god.
Dude,
That'd
yes.
be crazy.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Well, because he's supposed
He
to be.
canceled on the Star Trek thing, right?
I don't know. I keep on hearing different things.
I think he
about
stopped.
that.
Yeah, he doesn't have.
Well, the latest thing I heard about Tarantino with that was that someone was trying to say you can't have a Quentin Tarantino movie in space, like where you just everyone's dying. It's a Star Trek movie. They're like, and he pretty much said like, you want to bet? So I don't know if he's not, but you're familiar. Are y'all familiar with Tarantino's work?
Yes. God, you think I'm stupid? I live under a rock or something?
Have you seen
Well,
his
you're
latest
right.
film though?
How big go the rock?
Yes.
Say what?
His latest film.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
Well, I mean, any of his work, just realizing the kind of cat he is. What kind of Star Wars movie would that look like?
Awesome.
Where everybody
Awesome.
dies.
Awesome. Rogue One. Everybody died.
But they died like. But like,
Yeah.
can you imagine like?
Well, he
Mm.
he likes to destroy like what we hate, which is like he makes it fun to destroy what we hate. Like he destroyed.
That's I understand. What
You know what I
you're
mean? Like he
saying. That's
destroyed Nazis.
He
destroyed-
Hitler,
He destroyed like the slave owners. He destroyed
Okay.
the
these
killers
the
of Sharon
murderers.
Tate.
Like
yeah, the killers. were
he has
supposed to
this
kill Sharon
like.
Tate.
So what do we
Man.
hate in Star Wars that he'd be able to capture that?
That would be cool.
So that'd be the
like
first
in
time we have Ryan
Underworld.
Johnson as an actual artificial or a fictitious character in the storyline. It's a joke. All the fans don't like Ryan Johnson, so they create him in the storyline.
Good one.
Oh Jesus!
Good one.
How many times can someone get stabbed with a lightsaber and still live?
He'd probably come up with some good twist for that.
That'd be cool.
Oh. This is cheese.
So
With the lightsaber.
Ewan McGregor.
Turn it off, turn it back on, turn it off.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor.
Big cheese, yeah.
That's a big name.
Ewan McGregor. Do you know who that is?
That's huge.
That's my dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is her dad.
My dad. Hello there. Huh? That's good, right? That's my dad. He taught me.
He taught me.
Oh, God.
Yes, he's great.
Love him, Dad.
What's new with him, Sarah?
I don't know. What's new with you?
With him, not me. Jesus.
I haven't had a chance to interview him yet. Give me a week.
This show has gone nuclear.
I think he forgot about me or something. Like, hello,
I'll bring it up.
Dad?
Well, it's
I'll bring it
possible.
up.
Maybe because he got signed on to do something.
To forget about me?
Oh
Obi-Wan?
God.
Obi-Wan show?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Obi-Wan
Another-
It's official. He's doing
An official
the-
rumor. Do.
An
Yeah,
official.
Do.
it's a fact.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah?
It's a rock fact.
he's coming back to do.
Obi-Wan.
So all these shows that were supposed to be movies in the first place are shows. Mandalorian was supposed to be a movie, right? And now it's a show.
Sorry.
Was
I'm
it?
sorry.
Yeah.
fact?
No.
So Boba
All
Fett was
these
supposed to get his own
shows that
movie.
were supposed to be-
Now he's getting a show.
Oh, I
called
see what you
Mandalorian.
mean. Yeah.
Obi-Wan was supposed to be a movie. Now he's getting a show. There's a third one, right? What am I missing?
A show.
You talking about? Are you talking about Cassian?
No, there's another one. Is he getting a movie?
I thought he was getting a show.
No, I think
He's
he was
talking
getting a
about
movie.
movies like there were gonna be
These
movies
act-
and they
yeah.
got adopted into being
These
shows
characters were
instead.
supposed to get movies, and now because of what happened with Solo, all
Like
of these standalone Star Wars stories are now becoming shows.
Because it looked like there was gonna be a Boba Fett movie, and
But
then,
it's-
then they decided
The
to go the route
Mandalorian.
of having the Mandalorian show,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
which I actually think is kind of better.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you have more time for stuff, but then you gotta buy the freaking service.
I wonder if they did that.
You have to
with-
go through
with
the
Han
effort.
Solo.
Sarah, let's be honest. You're gonna be
I'm
watching
gonna
these
buy
shows,
fucking
and you're not
service
gonna be
now.
paying for the service.
Whoa.
It's true.
You're
I
gonna
need to do some convincing.
You're gonna steal
I'm
somebody's
a
access
moocher.
code.
I know.
I'm a moocher, she said.
It's fun. It's nice
It's fun. It's nice to
everything.
steal things.
to be a moocher.
Stealing, you're
You're
borrowing. You're testing it out.
Oh my goodness.
That's pretty
They
weird.
said it at the same time.
That was yeah.
What does that mean?
We're moochers.
That
We know
we're
what it
right.
means.
Yeah.
Charlie. Borrowing this.
Borrowing. Yeah.
Borrowing. It was like same tone and
Yeah.
everything.
They're used to it.
Yes. I am a serial moocher.
I'm not.
So
I'm
so that's
with
decided
your-
then. If you can't get the access code, you're not gonna, or the login, you're not gonna watch The Mandalorian.
Just tweet, and then someone will give it to you.
Yeah. I need to get a Twitter. I'm
Did you
gonna
see-
watch it.
Oh.
I guess.
What about Obi-Wan?
Fuck yeah.
That's my dad.
That's her dad. I'm gonna watch her dad's show.
That's weird.
That
I
would
don't like that like that.
for him.
I feel like I want to see the report on that showing DNA confirmation.
We look the same. We smile the same too.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Charming.
Where does it begin, though?
Charming.
Well, from my
Where
understanding,
did they begin with that show?
it's probably gonna be him on
Hasn't aged
Tatooine.
Very much at all either. So I hope they start with young Obi-Wan and
Kill him.
CGI him old and then kill him.
I mean, I guess they could, but I mean, if you're logging in him, Ewan McGregor, something tells me it's gonna be probably around him, like him as his age. So more than likely, it's gonna be him on Tatooine overlooking. Because at the time, okay, let's think about this. At the end of Han Solo, you still have was it Infant's Nest,
Yeah, Infant's Nest.
and ran by Darth Maul, and Darth Maul still at the time, even shown in Rebels, he's been looking for Obi-Wan this entire time.
Yeah, but they cover that in.
No, I understand that, but there was stuff that's happened before that.
Um,
And so what I'm saying is that it might be possible for whatever reason, like I'm not saying that they'll have connections, or maybe maybe there will be some of these kind of quick connections or whatever, but that it might be Obi-Wan watching out for Luke.
Does Emilia Clarke come back as a villain for that?
I think she's unfortunately she's going to be one of those roles where if she does come back for this, whether there be a Han Solo sequel movie or whether they kind of turn it into something like this for a show, I think she's going to be there, and she'll still follow the role of Darth Maul, and she'll end up probably dying because she would have had to kill Han Solo, and obviously we know that can't happen. So she'll end up sacrificing herself to save him. You don't want that?
No.
Well, how else do you see it going? I mean, she's obviously there, and we haven't seen her in present day. That's not to mean that in present day in the movies, and that's not to say that she's gonna die or that she is dead. But obviously, Han Solo never makes any mention of her. So
Because she's a whore.
What?
a whore.
The mother of
He
Rey.
said choke, and she went, she died. That's it. He's all, you whore.
Damn.
You Staten Island whore.
Jesus Christ.
I'm watching a lot of Jersey Shore, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Is a cow here?
Cats are here.
Gail's here. It's t-shirt time.
Intergalactic taxi. But yeah.
Okay, so where does this show end for Ewan McGregor and his Obi-Wan character?
Well, the last thing we've seen was him. I don't want to say killing Maul, but putting him to rest.
What else would you call that? It's killing him.
Putting him to rest.
Turn him into Swiss cheese.
Close his eyes.
Say good night.
Because
Don't let the bed bugs
I say
bite.
putting to rest in the sense that maybe it's a more poetic way of saying it, but that
He's
his whole
sleeping
entire
with
life, after being sliced and diced in half,
Yeah.
at the end of episode 1 was about revenge, was about anger, was about finding Obi-Wan and making him pay for what he actually had done.
Mm-hmm.
And so even at the end, in his arrogance, he did the same stupid maneuver that ended up getting him in trouble before that Obi-Wan pulled against him, where he died.
Mhm.
And so when in
For
doing
this
that,
time.
like we see in that clip, it was kind of like finally seeing that, like he realizes that that's not enough, that is now for sure going to end his life this time, and he's almost made peace with that. And Obi-Wan's comforting him as Maul pulls his last breath.
A friend, old friend.
Kind of, yeah. Really, really like that. Because that's when they have an exchange. He's like, so you think he's the one? Because right before they had the conversation about, like, you're here. What are you doing here? You're waiting. You're protecting something. No, someone. Talking about him protecting Luke. Maul didn't really know any of this.
Yeah, so Maul was just right there from finding Luke.
Mm-hmm. So finally getting this closure.
Yeah.
Because his last thing was, will he avenge us? So, and we've had this kind of conversation, like, what is he talking about? Does he mean Maul? Or does he mean Maul and his brother that died by the hands of Palpatine and Clone Wars? Like season 4 or something like that? Like, is that what he's talking about to get the closure for that revenge? Because now it's like almost his revenge was misplaced. Not against Obi-Wan now, but against Palpatine. Because Palpatine was supposed to be his master and left him for, as garbage. As soon as he got cut in half. So... is that going to be... So, being that that's the last thing that we've seen with Obi-Wan on the screen, or in the lore, I guess, would that be the logical closure point for Obi-Wan? Or are we going to actually... Are they going to redo him on screen dying at the hands of Vader? Or do we get to see him be a Force ghost? Like, I feels like that might be too fringe, that they would have this short story... that they're going to want to follow wherever that began that with, whether that's on Tatooine alone or not. But I think, Tim, that's a very interesting point. Where do we end this? At least for him.
I still think that plot hole needs to be filled with him losing his memory. The whole amnesia thing where he's like, who is Ben? Who is this
Borg got to him. Who are you?
Yeah. He lost his memory. When he talks to Luke, he's like, when Luke's like, hey, it's Ben. It's Ben Solo. I mean, Obi-Wan. Right?
Uncle Ben?
Ben Solo. Like, it's Ben, it's Obi-Wan, oh my god, I can't even get it right.
Just
simple words, Tim. 1, 2, 3, go.
But he's like, Obi-Wan's like, I don't know who you're talking about. Who are you looking for? He doesn't know who he is. He's like completely like lost a lot of his memory.
But isn't that kind of like what we saw with Luke? In episode 8? That maybe because he's turned himself into a hermit, that you kind of lose your mind if you're not talking to someone all the time.
Mm.
Or was Obi-Wan still being coy? Like, what? Oh, Luke, I know who you are.
Could Obi-Wan...
No, I don't know your dad.
Yeah,
buddy.
I was thinking maybe
Until they have the conversation, obviously, in his little hut thing.
But...
Or cave dwelling, whatever the hell it's supposed to be.
That would mean that, he would have... If he wasn't being coy, that would mean that he really did, like, at that point, he had lost his purpose being there to defend Luke. Unless he was being guided by the Force. Like, there's a reason why he's still there on Tatooine. He just...
Well, I think...
Why am I here? Like, why is he still there?
Well, it might have been, like, knowing that Luke, at that point was supposed to be, I think, 17 on Tatooine. Mm-hmm. That maybe he was just kind of like, all right, he's lasted this long. The Empire has no idea about him. Maybe he's done his job, and he just kind of fell into that role. I don't want to say he closed himself off from the Force, but, like, it might have just kind of been this, thing where he stopped doing kind of like, if you don't exercise a muscle, you lose it, that power. So I'm not saying he closed himself off from the Force, but maybe if he's not in constant need for using it, that maybe he was kind of becoming a hermit just because he was out hardly interacting with anyone in his little tavern. Not tavern, but his little cave dwelling thing. Sarah, I'm not sure if that was an agreement or an annoyance. Yeah?
Where do you draw the line? Where do you end it?
Where would you finish it? Yeah.
A New Hope. Like, boop. Tie it into that.
The way the other movie did it?
Or...
Like, and he's like...
Like the way Rogue One did it?
Or what if you had...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I was thinking, like, what if it ends with, like, him looking outside his cave and he sees Luke coming up in his little land speeder thing?
Ooh.
Ooh.
That'd be good.
in a distance. And
Yeah.
being like, oh shit, it's finally getting my time to
He's off.
get back in action.
My time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
We just get that shot of like Luke coming up.
Ben?
Right
And
where
then, and then
like,
he says something about
we don't really see it's like a blur, but we see Luke from the background and he's like calling to Ben, and that's how it ends.
Ooh, I got chills.
Well, I was thinking like if they're like
Yeah.
looking over your shoulder. I don't know if they wanted to do it with CGI, but I just feel like.
Oh, no CGI, just kind of like we know it's
Well, no,
Luke.
I'm saying CGI because
know
obviously
Luke is-
Luke doesn't look. Mark Hamill doesn't look like how he did back in the 70s.
Back on the day.
So what I mean is that like I'm wondering if he's just there and then maybe Qui-Gon calls out to him like, "Hey, buddy, it's time to get off your ass. Something's gonna happen." If
It's a bit frank.
hi, I'm Frank. Anyway,
You're talking about the scene. You're talking about the scene where they first meet each other.
I'm saying it's like it would be like the scene literally right before that.
Mm.
Like maybe he's just there and then he was like, I feel something, and then realizing that Luke is getting closer and realizing it's like, oh, okay, it's time to put on my Jedi pants. You know what I mean?
His Jedi cloak.
And then
No,
you
I
just
said
see
it
him
right,
say,
thanks.
"Hello there," and then the
You're
credits.
telling me he's living by himself?
And
You
then
know
the
he's just
credits.
walking around in his boxers like, sup, fool? It's hot out here in Tatooine. Goddamn sand and the hot ass sun. That's how you would do it, right, Tim? I just wanted to see that expression. He's like,
Why don't they have shades in Star Wars?
Like sunglasses?
Or sunglasses?
well, I mean,
I mean, they got two
goggles.
suns.
they have
Like,
blaster shields.
like Luke staring at two suns, and it's like she'd be blinding him.
Well, that's a sunset. I mean, it's not gonna blind him.
He's all staring right at it like,
Oh
Close up
my
of his red
god.
eyes.
Oh my god.
So, anything else about Sir Obi-Wan?
R.I.P.
Rest in peace. Yes, that was a hashtag.
Okay.
That was a shitty hashtag.
Yeah,
That was a
it was a-
I
hashtag.
thought that was a paragraph symbol.
So one last thing we could briefly talk about it. I don't think there's a lot that we can say about it. Article came out yesterday that it looks like maybe Donald Glover's coming back
Oh.
to do some stuff. So is that does that mean? Does that give credence to potentially them doing a sequel in some fashion for Han Solo movie or like an underground movie, or is he going to get his own show? Because that seems to be the name of the game right now, especially within Lucasfilm.
I don't want to see a Lando show. I don't
What
care.
if it's a talk show and he's dressed as Lando?
Oh, welcome back.
I really feel like that
To
his
the
personality
Lando
would be
show.
perfect for a talk show.
Yeah.
And come on down. Oh yes, ma'am. Come here. Like
the
all-
robot.
all
Weird.
weird. Like robot. Oh, what kind of?
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause it's
Yeah.
asexual.
No, what is it?
Oh no, a pansexual.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's right.
He likes them robots, especially the sassy ones. Anyway, so yeah, do we think this is for a film, show?
Bless you.
Bless.
Bless you.
Thank you.
What do y'all think?
I don't want a show.
You don't want a show?
No.
You feel like that'd be too much?
I think it'd be stupid.
Yeah. Only if it's a talk show.
The Lando show.
I think if they did like a sequel or something, and his part was like bigger,
Yeah.
like,
Or like an underground movie.
his part was like an important role. Ow! Like like was it Empire or no? Was it Return? He was a bigger character, and I think Return because they meet him in Empire.
Yeah. Oh, how you talking about? He took on the role as general.
Yeah,
within the-
like his part was bigger
rebellion?
in that movie. So
Yeah.
if there was a sequel, like I would rather see his part be bigger than him get his own. Like
True.
Sure.
And yeah, and I think that's actually an interesting point. Like, I wouldn't want to see a tearaway show just because it's his name.
yeah,
And it's not to say that he doesn't have a lot of. He probably has some interesting stories, but it always seemed like we had seen him in the aspect like his significance has really been resounded with because he knew Han and the connection that they've shared in the past. You know, I think it was Solo that we ended with Han going back to get back the Falcon. And so, and seeing him again, like, would they do a show? If they did a show, like, what are they going to do? Like, him going to Cloud City and be like, hey, I'm going to run this shit for you guys. You know what I mean? Like, how much of the story is really in that? And I'm sure they could do something interesting to make it seem like an underground type-esque thing where he's worrying about, I don't know, pirates trying to mess with the city. But again, is that really going to be enough that harkens back to actual real fanboys and fangirls for the trilogy, like the meat of what Star Wars is? Like actually having enough content to resound with that. Doesn't look like that's the case, so maybe we get to see him for another movie. Han Solo 2 sequel?
Solo, not so solo anymore.
Yeah, Solo Squared. Well, it's not really one anymore. I mean, even then, because he's with Chewie, too. Mm-hmm. Solo and the gang. Isn't that an oxymoron?
Solo and friends.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, isn't that an oxymoron? Who are your people? I don't have people. Solo. So, Tim, I think we got.
Emo.
Oh, I don't want to see that because now I'm going to see a emo hashtag woke Han Solo, and I think that's too much for us right now.
Emo would never say woke.
I hope not. You never know these days.
So
So we have one more topic. Tim?
My chemical romance.
You don't want to... Oh, God. So it seems like
It would be cool if
You
it,
know.
there's another rumor that's come out. It's a rumor from the past, but now maybe we have some foundation to it.
Snoke with a glow.
That Snoke was somehow Palpatine. Maybe. Possibly. Now that we know Palpatine's coming back. In some fashion. That maybe Snoke was in fact somehow a clone of Palpatine. That maybe his essence was in. Or at least... No, yeah, maybe his essence was in.
Did he crack that lightning in the movie?
What?
Did he use force lightning in the movie? He didn't, right?
Who?
Snoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he? I don't remember him doing anything.
I can't.
He
I
was
think it was the
that
cut.
and
No. It was Kylo Ren when he was first coming in. He was having the conversation like, take off that stupid mask kind of thing.
He's
But he like he not only does he use the force lightning, but he shoots it into the ground and it reflects back and hits him. I think it was Kylo Ren. I'm almost sure. You're gonna make me feel crazy now.
go watch it.
You are crazy.
I am crazy, but crazy in the not good.
He did the
way.
whoa, and then like lightning shot out right when he did the thing.
Oh my god.
Both the fingers.
No.
But
Wow.
so anyway, I'm pretty sure that was him that used lightning. So, what do you think about him potentially having the essence of Palpatine, him being a clone? Oh my god!
Just imagine him going. That's all I saw in that quote. And I was like,
A clone, not a
I think
dog.
I'm crazy. I was just hallucinating this
That's
character.
funny. That's great.
Yeah, that was superb.
Oh god.
Tim?
Who would be responsible? Like, who would? I'm just thinking, like, behind everything to make the clone of him after he dies. His backup plan.
I don't think. Well, if
One of
he's-
his backup plans. I'm sure
What
he
if-
had like 100.
if he has the
Snoke was a very
ability,
convincing robot.
organic robot.
Yeah.
Or what if he was a, dare I say, puppet?
Yeah. CGI puppet.
Like that.
Whatever. A puppet.
Did the Ace Ventura?
I'm quite sure. What?
Ace Ventura. Yeah.
I've done it on the sales floor before. People are just like, oh.
Don't do that.
But I'm quite sure if he has the ability to somehow transfer his essence, if you will, his consciousness, that I don't think he's like, it's not going to just be floating above his body and someone has to scoop it up to go put it in somebody else. It probably can like transfer it. So he would have had contingency plans in place. And again, I know this is more so Lewis's aspect side, but with a lot of in Legends that they can still pull from to make canon in this movie, that he had clones, that maybe it's very well possible that Palpatine would have exactly been the kind of person to have these contingencies in place, much like how we saw in the Battlefront 2 game, that he had essentially like these recorded drones that would act as him to give out his final commands for the Empire until maybe one day he has the ability to really come back. So, like, I'm going to lean more so that he's not a clone of him. Maybe like a student or something like that. Because it seems like they would have more precedence for it seemed like there'd be more precedent for, if Palpatine in fact was Snoke and vice versa, for him in the movie, especially now because it's like, well, we never heard any resemblance of that, but now finally for the trailer we get to hear his cackle at the very end of it. Like, it would make more sense that like his essence is trapped or his contingency plan is locked away for whoever's to unlock him. Like, kind of like the whole idea of if he is like a Horcrux,
Harry Potter?
that maybe he's still alive. Right, no, I mean, that's the comparison I'm making, that he would somehow, to truly be immortal, that he's able to break himself away and he's hidden away in these secret vaults that he has. And then when someone like, oh, cool, look at some cool shit that isn't here, and then when that happens, and presto manifesto, he's back.
Presto man.
The Emperor of Evil is back, baby! So, what do y'all think? We're giving up on the clone?
I want him to be a clone. I want him to be.
Do you want him to be a
duck.
clone, or you just want him to be
You want him
back?
to be a duck?
Did you say a duck?
I want him to be a duck.
Wow.
Why not?
That's
And
What's up with duck jokes lately? I've been hearing a lot of them in the past.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a common thing that right now.
I had
Ducks.
no idea. I didn't know that.
It's weird.
Like,
Maybe
yeah,
it's just a coincidence. Like all these people I'm talking to are saying duck as a joke.
ha duck.
It's weird.
Quack, quack, quack,
Okay,
quack,
anyway,
quack.
continue.
Oh, is that another one to bring
And
back for
revenge
Tarantino?
those duck robots. And they go.
Wait,
"Ah!"
she quacks in the diner,
Oh,
Pulp
those
Fiction.
droids.
Yeah.
You're just like a duck. Quack, 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 quack. You really don't
I
remember?
don't remember that
What are you
one.
talking about?
That the
Pulp
diner
Fiction,
scene
when you
in
sit in
Pulp
the diner.
Fiction.
Oh,
I don't remember that part.
Honey Bunny.
Yes. Yeah, you're a real fan.
I'm a shitty fan of many things. Anyway.
So, maybe what other ways do we think Palpatine's going to come back?
As a duck.
Is it what?
Other than a duck. Jesus Christ.
Stop it. I want him to be like a Darth
goat?
Vader. like a Darth
man.
Vader. Just this man in a suit kind of thing.
What if
He's a robot.
What if
No.
he's possessing a robot?
Yeah. He got one of those duck robots. and he goes, wow.
Well, that's essentially what a clone would be. Like if it was a
There
clone.
you go. He's a clone. Thank you.
Well, oh God.
Yeah, I mean, essentially those are clones.
That's what a clone. Yeah, like, that's kind of like what a clone would be.
It would be like cloning a clone into a clone. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. There's
Right?
multiple
Is that what she's
copies
trying
of
to say?
him. One's just more.
It's a box
But
inside a box
clone-
inside another box.
Isn't a clone like an exact copy, right? That's why they call them clones.
Well, I mean, what I'm talking about is like the clone of the body that he's able to transfer his mind to.
But it doesn't look like him.
Doesn't have to.
But it's a clone.
What if he
Yeah.
possesses Kylo? You're weak.
We are getting caught up on the clone word, and I think that we will see something like that in this movie.
Yeah.
He's gonna take over Kylo, and somehow
Here, mark
Kylo's
my
gonna
words
fight
right
him
now.
back, and then he's gonna take over Rey.
136.
And we get to see.
23rd Friday.
We've already said this, is he?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me the receipts.
They said They said this is gonna be one of the best lightsaber battles. we've ever seen.
Yeah. I'd like to see it
I don't know,
first.
man. Anakin and Obi-Wan's was pretty tight.
Pretty tight. You guys get my meme with the
Pretty tight.
Winnie the Pooh? It's over, Christopher Robin. I have the high
Oh,
ground.
yeah. That's funny.
I don't think I laughed at it because I shared that like a couple weeks before that.
Oh.
That's why I was mildly upset.
Oh.
I'm just playing. It's over, Christopher Robin. I have the high ground. Yeah.
That's cute.
So,
So what?
anything else?
No.
Where's his voice coming
We
from?
have
It's
a
not
voice-
on the camera.
Force ghost here in the room.
We're being audited.
You're gonna go, woo!
How was it?
Yeah. You know, when he scares away the sand people?
Would you want to be a ghost so you could be a stereotypical ghost to other people? Why are you making that sound? Because I can, but what?
What? I don't want to be a force ghost. You're being an idiot!
But you couldn't hit him because he's a ghost.
I can hit them, but they won't feel a thing.
Unless you have iron.
You have to use the force lightning.
Like Yoda.
Oh.
I conjure the lightning.
Thank you.
It
Yeah.
was like summoned it.
Because people were saying like that he put the tree on fire by giving it force lightning, but it's because he was conjuring it. You saw it come
The fire?
from the skies.
Mhm.
Huh?
The fire?
Fire from the sky.
The fire happened as a result of the tree being struck by lightning.
Yeah,
Because he
Right.
because he made the lightning.
He didn't.
He
summoned it.
willed the light.
He turned into Raiden.
What?
Luke Cage.
Raiden. From Mortal Kombat. Raiden.
Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
The guy with the lightning in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lord Raid. Okay, the show is definitely off the rails now.
We're done.
We've been like that for like an hour now.
So,
That's been the entire episode.
Wow.
Sarah has closing.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
It's a wrap.
has been
It's a frap. It's a piece of.
episode
Crap.
a little bit. 54 of the Force Show podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
All
Like-
the things.
Comment, share,
Subscribe.
subscribe. And that's all.
Send hate mail
No,
to
no,
me.
no.
Oh,
To
yeah.
this
okay.
guy.
Fill Tim's mail slot. Send hate mail to him.
Swipe.
And
Damn
Tim's
it.
back on the Twinder.
Damn.
Yes.
Twinder. What's a Twinder?
Shh.
Oh.
yeah. Swipe right or left.
Both.
Your choice.
Can you?
No.
No. Who knows these things?
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Peace.